see, and I'll also give my prediction to what I think the score will be at the weekend. So, 11.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We are here again with another preview. Hopefully, new year. Hopefully, new Arsenal. I highly doubt it, however. I expect to see much of the same. But we have got West Brom tomorrow. We should pick up 3 points. And we're going to preview the game. But before we get into that, like I said, big up to everybody who has followed my channel over the past year. Well, over the past couple of months. Everybody who's subscribed, everybody who's watched the videos, everybody who's liked and shared the content as well. I appreciate every single one of you, and big up to you all. But, and I know I say it a lot, but if you have not yet, please go and click that subscribe button. I'll be bringing lots and lots of content this year, and I cannot wait to see what this year brings. And before we get onto the preview, I just want to shout out to everybody who's had a bit of a tough year last year. 2020 was absolutely shit. You know, probably one of the worst years ever. People suffering from coronavirus, suffering from losing their jobs, losing their lifestyles, and you know, I just want to give a shout out to them guys, and say hopefully this year can be a lot better. So as I've said already, Happy New Year to each and every single one of you. Now, before we get onto the preview, I do want to just share one of probably my highlights of 2020. And it'll be the highlight for most Arsenal fans, to be honest with you, because there's not many of them. You know, 2020 was a rubbish year for everybody. But it was even worse if you're an Arsenal fan, because at the moment we are horrendous. But this is probably my highlight of 2020. But as great as that was, the problems still lie at Arsenal Football Club, even now, and the same old problems is what has got us in this position. There we go. Same old problems. Now, it is a new year. Will we see a new Arsenal? Will we see something different? Or will we see the same old bullshit? Now, I'm glad to see the back of 2020, 100%. And I should say that the majority of you are. But the January transfer window is now open. So that means Edu Gaspar, Stan and Josh Kroenke, and Mikel Arteta, the talking stops now. Yes, we have lots to do in this January transfer window. We've got plenty of dead wood here at the club that needs to get gone. And we, out of the so-called Big Six, need the most in this window. Will they do it? Will they do it? Or will we be sitting here on the 1st of February cursing like we always are, and just downright pissed off? It seems to me that they have made the first move to start to get rid of a couple of these players. Syed Kolasinac is leaving, or has left, on loan to Schalke, so that gets his wages off the books, even just for the time being. I know we are paying half of his wages, but it's still better than paying £110,000 to a player who is not playing and is not good enough to be at this football club. Hopefully we can move out some other players. I think that is possibly more important than actually getting players in. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, moving on. West Brom tomorrow. 8 o'clock kickoff. West Brom struggling in the league, fighting for their lives. They sacked Stevan Bilic and brought in Big Sam. And Big Sam is what you class as an expert at getting teams out of relegation. Can he do it with West Brom? Can he do it with West Brom? Now, when he came in, they had a decent result against Liverpool. But the last game that they played, they got absolutely slapped up by Leeds. And I fully expect us to go and do the same thing if we want to class ourselves still as a big club. But it's Big Sam versus Mikel Arteta tomorrow. Who will get the better of them? Who will come out on top? I know a lot of Arsenal fans are all of a sudden gassed because we've won a couple of games, but we are still in that mid-table to relegation fight. I don't care what anybody else says. We are still there. All it takes is for us to drop more points and we will fall further down the pecking order. Now, it was good to get back to winning ways in 2020 towards the end of the season, towards the end of the year. And we have won our last 2 games back to back. But let's start this season on a fresh, or this year, should I say, on a fresh. Let's see something different. Yeah, I'm fed up with seeing Arsenal come out in the first half and be slow and lethargic and just average. I'm fed up with seeing it where it takes until the manager gives them a bollocking at half time before they actually pick up their performance. Yeah, this is West Brom at the end of the day. It is not Man City. It is not Liverpool. We should be picking up 3 points. No question about it. And I want to see a performance tomorrow. I really, really do. But like I said, what is probably more important than that is, will we
be excited
in the January transfer window? It is so important. If these guys that are in charge of the football club do not want to invest in this football club, or don't do any business in January, then we as a fan base need to come together and get them fuckers out. If you don't care about Arsenal Football Club, Stan Kroenke, sell it to somebody who does. Because for the past 10 years since you've been on the board, we have gone backwards, year in, year out. And we are going nowhere fast. And everybody can talk about the Mikel Arteta in, Mikel Arteta out debate. Listen, I'm Mikel Arteta out. Yeah, and there are other fans out there who are Mikel Arteta in. That little debate there, yeah, is pointless. Yeah, it's by the by now. It's done. Because it's clear to see that this board is going to keep him here no matter what. Otherwise, he would have been sacked a long while ago. So now is your time, Edu, Stan, Josh, Vinay. Now is your time to step up. Stop chatting, stop running your mouth, and back your talk, and back your manager. Anyway, moving on. Just before I move on, I'm going to get into a couple of your comments. So we've got Afdaling Skills here. Says, yo, Brandon, yo, how we doing? He says, we can win our next 3 games. Yes, and we should. And if we don't, then we are in big, big trouble. I prefer Xhaka over Abba as captain. Sorry, mate, I disagree completely. I don't think either of them are captains, personally. Aubameyang, I can understand why they gave him the captaincy last season, because he led by example. He was the one who was pushing this team forward. Granit Xhaka, he's not a leader. I don't care what anybody says. He's not a fucking leader. The guy gets himself sent off all the time. His attitude stinks. He's not a leader. He's not a captain, and neither is Aubameyang. For me, it's Kieran Tierney. Afdaling Skill says Laka is better than Aubameyang. He certainly is this season. I don't know what has happened to Aubameyang. Since he's signed that contract, he's gone missing. I don't know whether it's personal things that's going on in his life, or whether he just, well, whether he's just chilling now that it's all over, and he's got his new contract, which is what he wanted. I was very, very. I say I was disappointed. I could understand why Arteta put Aubameyang in the last game, but at the same time, Lacazette scored 3 goals in 3 games. Why do you drop him? Why do you drop him? And I want to see Lacazette start up front. I want to see Aubameyang on the bench, and I want to see Lacazette start up front tomorrow, because he deserves it. Yeah, he's the one who's scoring the goals. Aubameyang's doing fuck all. Leave him on the bench and let him sit out for a little while until he picks up his attitude and his form. Drop Aubameyang, he's doing nothing on the pitch, absolutely useless. Well, you say that, right? But I watched a video, and I saw it myself when I was watching the game. I watched a video of a run that Aubameyang made the other day against Brighton, and Granit Xhaka had all the time in the world to play the ball to him. Yeah, he was in acres of space. He just dropped off the shoulder of the defender, and he had so much time to play that pass. He's making the runs. He's just not getting the ball. And Granit Xhaka is, well, anybody could have seen that ball. I could have played that ball, you know, but he played it sideways instead. Afdaling again says the biggest problem is the owner and the board. 100%. The board is a massive issue. 100%. We've got 3 guys ultimately in charge of this football club, who have no experience in their fields, Edu, Vinay, Arteta, who are learning on the job. And as much as it might pay dividends in the end, yeah, we haven't got time to be waiting around, sitting and lingering in fucking mid-table and 15th place. We're the third biggest club in England. We should not be anywhere near mid-table or 15th place. We should be fighting at the top year in, year out, no matter what. And yeah, the owner is a problem. He's a massive, massive problem. A lot of people say that he's, you know, he doesn't invest in Arsenal, right? As much as that's a fair comment, and I do think we need investment now, at the same time, I don't blame him as such, because we have spent money, but I do blame him for putting the wrong people in charge of the football club, you know, and the fact that he just don't give a shit about this club at all. We need to buy a world-class centre attacking midfielder. Before we had Cesc, Santi and Ozil. Now we have nothing. Yeah, 100%. Our midfield area, it needs strengthening, and it needs strengthening in this window. Yeah, it's all right them saying, "Oh, we've got 10 players leaving in the summer. They're out of contract, and we'll rebuild the squad then." No, we need it now. Yeah, we need it now. I don't know who that midfielder is, personally, but you know, there's plenty of them out there. At the end of the day, I could go through so many teams that have got a better midfield than us, and our midfield is absolutely shocking. And personally, I think that is what is costing us at the moment. There's an old saying: the game is won and lost in midfield. The midfield battle is what wins you the game. And we're losing midfield battles 9 times out of 10, you know, and it's just not good enough. Mate, we're only 6 points behind Chelsea, and this is the worst Arsenal team ever. Yeah, it's a strange season, you know, it's a strange season. Obviously Liverpool still doing well. They've got a few injuries, but they're also dropping points this season. They're nothing like the machine that they was last season. I didn't expect Manchester United to be second, you know, but they've had a good run of games recently. You know, they got slapped by Tottenham 6-1. We even beat them, you know, and I just thought, nah, Manchester United, they're just not good enough. But no, they are second in the league. You know, you've got Chelsea, who are literally 6 points in front of us, even Spurs as well. I know Spurs have got a game in hand, but Spurs are supposed to be going for the title and having this excellent season, but we're 6 points behind them, and we've had a dreadful season. So it is a strange season. You know, Aston Villa was literally on the verge of getting relegated last season, and they are doing absolutely brilliantly. Then you got Sheffield United, who was absolutely brilliant last season, who are absolutely dreadful this season. It's a strange old season. Who do I want us to sign in January? Now, if it was me, I'd say we need 3 players minimum. 3 players all day long. We need 2 midfielders. We need a midfielder who can sit next to Partey, and we need a central attacking midfielder as well. The midfielder who sits next to Partey, for me, would be Basuma. Go and get him all day long. A central attacking midfielder, I mean, it depends, really. You could go short term. If you go short term, like as a short term fix, probably go and get Isco on a loan. If you're looking at long term, then you want someone like a Hossein Mouar. At the end of the day, Hossein Mouar is someone that our manager wanted. So go and get him. Yeah. Go and get Hossein Mouar. Go and get, who else could you have? You could have Buendia, you could get Jack Grealish. I know Jack Grealish will cost a lot of money, but the improvement would be unreal, out of this world. For me, if I had the option, it would be Bissouma, Jack Grealish, and Max Aarons at right back. But I don't expect any of that to happen. Rio says Tierney or Partey I'd choose for captain. 100% Tierney. It'd be Tierney for me because he's been at the club longer. But you can see the fight, the fact that he wants to be here, the fact that he fights for that badge. Granit Xhaka, he's a clown. Aubameyang, he's got no leadership skills whatsoever, apart from the fact that he leads by example on the pitch. But at this moment in time, you can't even say that about him. So, you know, and what's frustrating is the captain's armband at Arsenal used to be a thing that you should feel proud. You know, it should be a special thing for you to be captain of Arsenal Football Club. But it seems to me like that captain's armband just gets thrown about to whoever, you know. You'll have Aubameyang captain one week, then it'll be Rob Holding, then it'll be Hector Bellerin. It's just, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. You know, maybe I'll get it one week. You know, find a captain. That is half of our problem as well. We do not have leaders in this football team whatsoever. Afdalen again. Should we keep or sell Balogun? He wants 100 grand a week. 100 grand a week. Jesus. Well, in that case, if he wants that sort of money, then you got to sell him. You got to sell him. But if not, you know, if you could get him to take maybe 60, you know, 50, 60,000 pound per week, then you got to keep him, because this kid, yes, I don't know much about him. Yes, I've not seen an awful lot of him, but what I have seen of him, he's better than Nketiah. You know, he's better than some of the players that we have in his position. And I'm surprised, I'm shocked that he has not had more opportunities. You know, he scored 2 goals in 2 games and got an assist in the Europa League. And yes, I know it's the Europa League, but the kid was high on confidence. And then for the last few games, he's been left at home. And our manager comes out in his press conference and says that he wants this kid to sign a new contract. Why would he sign a new contract if you do not give this guy opportunities? You know, if he wants 100 grand a week, give him an opportunity to prove that he is worth 100 grand a week. You know, stupid. It really is stupid. What goes on at this football club is an absolute joke. Rio says, if we get Bissouma, Lamptey / Max Aarons and Balogun new contract and a centre-back, would you be happy with that for a window and get rid of a few players? Bissouma and Max Aarons, Balogun new contract and a centre-back. For me, centre-back is not our massive priority at the moment. So centre-back would probably be in the summer. And if I was to go and buy a centre-back, I would probably wait till the summer so I can get someone of top level quality in, who's probably not going to break the bank too much. You know, I'd rather go and buy a centre-back in the summer who's of top quality than panic and try and buy a centre-back in January that we're just going to end up getting rid of in a couple of years because he's not good enough. So to answer your question, if we get Bissouma and Lamptey or Max Aarons, is it a good enough window? Probably not. I would be happier than what I am right now, of course. But we do need that central attacking midfielder. But then saying that, Emil Smith Rowe has been doing a job. So yeah, I would probably be, fairly pleased with the window, but not like massively pleased. Rio says Eddie's stopping Balogun from playing, which is probably why he wants 100 grand, so that he'll be able to leave because he don't get played. Yeah, I agree with you there as well. And Nketiah, he's just not good enough. And I don't know what this manager sees in him. But that is part of the reason why I want this manager out, because I just don't believe he's making the right decisions at the right time at this football club. Joe here says, hi mate, how you doing? Hope you had a good new year and a good Christmas. Afdaling says, Nketiah is terrible, not good enough. I agree again. So, moving on. We're going to get into the starting 11 for the West Brom game. Now, the starting 11 is pretty simple for me. You played the same team that played against Brighton, barring this guy here, who I would drop to the bench. So I would put Lacazette up front. And if I had it my way, this guy and this guy would not be in the starting 11 either. But we know that they will be. So, starting 11, Bernd Leno in goal. He's been all right recently. He's not been too bad. I thought he commanded his box quite well against Brighton. Didn't really have too much to do. But this guy needs to improve on his distribution. He is, at the moment, not top level goalkeeper. And once we are sorted in every other area of the squad, I would look at possibly getting rid of him. I've got a guest joining me, African Gooner. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Happy New Year to you and everyone else.
Happy New Year to you, mate, as well. We've just been talking about the January transfer window, how important it is, these man, Stan Kroenke, Edu, Arteta, they've got to stop chatting and running their gums now. They've got to go and put some sort of plan into action. I don't know what I was more happy about, the fact that we can put 2020 behind us, which has been an absolute terrible year, or the fact that the January transfer window is now open. I don't know how you feel.
Well, I wouldn't say 2020 was the worst year, because we did win an FA Cup, so that kind of was a great positive for us. And people don't really like the Community Shield, but I'll take any trophy as an Arsenal fan, so I count that one too. But ultimately, I think it's hard to be excited as an Arsenal fan during the window, whichever one it is, whether it's January or summer window, and specifically January window, because we know, historically we either don't sign anyone or we just loan a crap player that ends up being injured for most of the season or doesn't get into our team. In terms of, your comments about putting words into action, I totally agree with that. And it seems like the ball started rolling already. Kolasinac out the door. We're not paying for his wages. He took a wage cut, and apparently he's been named captain already of Schalke, which I don't know if that's true, but I find that really weird. Anyways, just want to let them know that Arsenal has a no refunds policy in 2021, so they can keep that guy there. I think his contract is expiring at the end of the season anyways, right? So I think that's over for Kolasinac at Arsenal. And apparently Socrates moving to Fenerbahce on a free is pretty much a done deal as well. And then Nelson and Willock going on loan. These are all positives, right? We need to get these players out, whether it's on loan or just for free, really. I think Mesut Ozil is another one that we would really like to get rid of in January. But yeah, ultimately, it's cool. At least we're getting some guys out the door. I want to see a attacking midfielder come in within the next week, to 10 days. That's my timeline. I'm giving them 10 days, and I want to see concrete rumors. I want to see someone come in, and Partey is going to be back into the team, and I think we can kick on from here. I really hope to. I think we won the last 2 games, and I really feel like if we get the players that we need and we play with the system, Partey comes back into the team, we get Aubameyang firing. I think we stick to Martinelli and Saka, keep Pepe to be a rotational player from the bench, and let Aubameyang and Lacazette fight for that starting place. Just because Aubameyang's captain and was our top goal scorer doesn't mean he should start every game. And I think it'll be healthy competition for Martinelli and Saka as well. I'm not saying they should start every game, but I think they should really be all on the same playing field. And it's up to who's performing both in training and in games, and then make the call of who's gonna play each game. And I think that'll make a healthy squad for us. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. What's more important for you in the January transfer window? Is it who we get rid of, or is it who we sign?
It's who we sign. It's who we sign, because we know we can't do anything with the team we have. We can win a couple of games. I feel pretty confident in the game tomorrow. I think we'll I think 3-0 really, or 3-1. I mean, maybe not a clean sheet, but I think these are the easy games that we should be winning, and it seems that we've started to score goals and stuff, especially against Chelsea. I think we need to play fast. Something I recognized from our game on Tuesday was we were slow. We were too slow. When we were playing against Chelsea, we were one-touch football. It reminded me of Wenger days, because it's not very often that we see Arsenal play with so much pace in the game. And I don't know if it's because it was against Chelsea, so automatically the game is just more speed in the game, or it was an instruction, right? But we can see that we scored 3 goals and we could have scored 5. So we need to replicate that. I think we need to play way, way faster. Of course, Emil Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, and Saka obviously help to that effect. But I think it needs to be spoken of, before you go out. Like, we need to just, give it all in the first half, play one-touch passing, Xhaka, El Neni, a lot of these guys holding, David Luiz, they take too many touches on the ball. Against Chelsea, there was none of that. It was just one touch all the way to the goal and then create a chance. So, yeah, no, we need a player to come in, regardless of the uprise that we've seen in the team. Don't be fooled. We, as soon as we play a tough team again, we'll have the same issues. So let's get in a creative midfielder now, whoever it is. The kid from Dortmund, I take him. I take in Isco. I take in anyone really at this point. Buendia. Any of those, we shouldn't stick up our noses at them, because any of those guys make our team massively better. For me.
Yeah, no, I agree. For me, I think we need minimum of 2 signings. 2 midfielders.
Both midfielders?
Yeah, both midfielders. Personally,
Okay.
For me, I would go and get Basuma and stick him next to Partey.
Cool.
And then go and get Hossemuwa. He's a player that the manager wanted at the end of the day.
Too expensive. We're not going to splash 70 mil. I don't see it. I wish. I have no faith that we're going to spend that money, because we know it'll cost 50 million for Aouar. Okay, let's say he would get him discounted. Let's say 40 million. Okay, and then I think the other guy, Bissouma, is going to be at least 20 to 25 mil. And he's more. I think he's a well-rounded player, right? He can sit and he can push forward. So he's kind of like a Thomas Partey vibe, but I think a little bit smaller in stature and physical presence. And obviously he's younger, but they're kind of very similar players, right? So we'd have those 2 sitting as our defensive players, and then we'll have, I guess, Aouar or Buendia or whoever to play as our attacking mid. That would be incredible. That'd take our team to another level. I think that's a Europa League final team there. If you're talking about the players that we were talking about, we're able to get that done. Really, that takes us to another level. But I don't see us spending the cash. What
about if we did this? What about if we went and got Basuma
and put Ozil back in the team?
No. Okay. What about if we went and got Basuma? And we went and got either Lamptey or Max Aarons.
Yeah.
But we didn't get an attacking midfielder, but we stuck with Emil Smith-Rowe there. Do you think that would be enough?
No. You know why? Because I'd rather sacrifice Bissouma and get the creative midfielder, because we can get away with the El Neni or Xhaka next to Partey for the rest of the season, than to not get the creative midfielder. And then, yes, we need another right back, but that's kind of longer term. And then Bissouma, yes, we would need him, but ultimately we can get away with that position right now. I think the 10 is what we can't get away with. We don't have anyone. And Emil Smith-Rowe, as good as he is, and as I've been calling for him for a long time, you can't expect that guy to play the rest of the season. It just doesn't make any sense. If we know he's injury prone, he gets a knock, he gets tackled, anything. You know how Arsenal is with our injuries. And that's season over. So why do we want to take that chance when we can spend 10, 15 million and fix our problem, right? We don't have to spend 50 million. I mean, just get a guy who can do a decent job. And I think Buendia is like 25 million. We should be able to get that done.
Yeah. So
what do you think? Do you think that's reasonable? I mean, I'd love Bissouma, but I don't think, you know what I mean? I think we can get away with it. Because we have El Neni and Xhaka, who are going to be still in this team, we're not going to get rid of them. So they'll be on the bench anyways. So might as well just get the creative midfielder and let Xhaka and El Neni do that kind of squad rotation between the two next to Partey.
It's a tough one for me, really, because I just feel like we've been leaking goals quite a lot recently. Like I know we didn't against Chelsea, and I know we didn't against Brighton as well, but in previous games we've been leaking goals a lot, and I just think if we had somebody else next to Thomas Partey, that would plug that gap, but it would also allow us to play a little bit more expansively, because a lot of the time these players like your Xhakas, your El Nenis and that, they get caught out of position so much, or they get caught on the ball, and that's where we concede most of our goals from. So
yeah.
If you was to put a Bissouma next to a Partey, I think it would give us the license to play a little bit more expansively, a bit more attacking, and then we'll probably score more goals from that. So I don't know. It's a tough one, really, for me.
I disagree on that. So a couple of points. Like I disagree and agree. Like I see where you're coming from, but where my mind is, in the beginning of the season, we weren't conceding that much. That's the first point. The second point is we actually really technically haven't seen Thomas Partey in the team. So technically with him in the team, I think we'll leak less goals. And then the third point is, when the team is just so bad like we were, and we're in such a downward spiral, like I feel naturally you leak goals, right? I think now that we're back to an average team, or an average squad where we won't leak as many goals, I think we'll be a bit better. I don't know if we will leak as many goals, you know what I mean? But I see where you're coming from. So I think Thomas Partey automatically makes the team better, and I don't think we'll leak as many goals, but we have to see it before we can really make a judgment call.
Okay.
For example, in the next 3 games, I don't think we'll leak more than 3. We're not going to leak 2 goals a game. We might leak 1 goal a game, which I think is, it's acceptable. But I don't think we'll leak more than a goal a game until we play, a United or a Leicester, a bigger team. And I think that's in Feb. We have an easy January. Let's be real. We should be winning almost every single game.
Yeah, we should be. If we want to call ourselves a big club, we should be. So speaking of that, West Brom tomorrow. Big Sam came out with his comments a few weeks ago saying about how we are in and around the relegation fight, and maybe it's a 6-pointer. What do you reckon?
No, I don't reckon. I think that the global fan base, aka rival fans, took as much advantage as they could because of our position. And Arsenal's never going to be in a position again like that. I'm hoping. I really don't think we'll ever be in a position like that. So I think from begin with, it was just pure banter to get views. YouTubers just to if United or anyone else was in that position, we'd do the exact same thing, right? So I think they took full advantage. But realistically, I mean, come on. Yeah, we're like 6, 7, 8 points, above relegation zone. There's no way we're dropping back in there. I'm not saying we're going to go and finish 4th or 6th, but, we're going to be around, I think, 12th to 9th, or even 8th. I think we'll be around there for the rest of the season. I don't see us going back down there. So, and I think tomorrow we're going to win easily. I think 3-0. They lost 5-0 their last game, right? So I'm expecting us to sweep them 3-0. I think Aubameyang's going to score tomorrow. And I think the kids are going to play well. Saka's going to have another assist, and it should be easy. It really should be. If we play how we played against Chelsea, there's no chance. We have to break down the team, because we know they're going to sit 11 men behind the ball. But I'm keen to see Martinelli, Saka, and Smith-Rowe try to break that team down. I think they can do it. So I'm not scared. And I'm quite realistic. Like when I think we'll lose, I'll say we will lose. Or if I think we'll draw, I'll say we'll draw. But I really feel that we'll win this game. And I did think that we would win the Brighton game as well. I thought 3-0, but I'll take a 1-0. I don't care how we win as long as we win these days. That's all that matters for me right now.
Exactly. I mean, what scares me the most is that Arsenal are just, well, we can win any game, but we can also lose any game as well. So it's a bit of a madness, really. Start 11 for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going with the same starting 11. Don't change too much. I would take out Xhaka to put Partey. I don't think it's really a risk. I think he's fit now. I'd keep the same back four, although I don't like Holding, and I think people are giving him too much praise. Even last game, I thought he was giving away the ball way too much. He wasn't making clear errors, but his passing wasn't that great. I'd keep David Luiz and Willian out of the team. I'd keep Pepe on the bench. There's no need for him to come, honestly. Saka's performing way better than he is. I'd keep Martinelli in as well. And I'd start Lacazette, to be honest. I'd keep Aubameyang on the bench and bring him on in the second half. Lacazette deserves to start the game. He scored in the last 2 games. Frankly, I'd start him, especially when we know that the team is going to be defensive. Lacazette can hold the ball and bring other players into play, and he has confidence. So don't kill his confidence now, because it's not going to be often that he's at this peak. Right now, I feel like he's back, potentially back to being the Lacazette that we bought. Scoring goals, being involved in the game, running his socks off. So that'd be my team. Smith Rowe in the 10, and then I'd play El Neni, Thomas Partey. I want to see Maitland-Niles and stuff. I do, but I don't want to f with the team or screw up with the team. I just leave it the way it is. We've been winning with it, so carry on. Just put Partey in if he's fit instead of Xhaka or El Neni, whichever, and we go from there. And then we make the adjustments in the second half. I keep Willian on the bench as well, if I didn't mention that. But we know we don't know. We have a feeling that Bellerin will be there, Holding will be there, Willian might be there, maybe Aubameyang might be there, and Lacazette might be on the bench. Whichever he chooses, I'm quite confident. By the way, I don't care. I'm not. It's not one of these games where I need to see the lineup to decide if we'll win. I think regardless of the lineup, we will win.
Okay. I have to agree with you there. I would go with the same lineup that's been winning. The only change that I would make from the last game is Aubameyang on the bench instead of Lacazette. Yep. I thought that decision, although I could understand why Arteta did it, he's trying to get Aubameyang back to scoring ways again. He's trying to get the guy's confidence back up again. So I can understand why he started Aubameyang. It also baffled me a little bit because Lacazette had scored 3 goals in the last 3 games. And, he can't do any more than that. And then you drop him. And it's like, well, that ain't going to do the player's confidence any good. And he's just lucky that he came off the bench. He looked like he had a point to prove. And within his first couple of touches, he banged another one away. So, hopefully, for me, I want to see Lacazette up front. I think he deserves to start up front. And that's the thing with this team as well. We've got to stop looking at players' names and who we like. Players have got to play on merit, not on, it's Aubameyang, we can't leave him out. No, if he's not playing well, leave him out. And if there's somebody else who is scoring goals, put them in. It's just quite as simple as that.
He had a golden chance and he missed it, right? So I don't know. As I said again, it won't bother me too much because I know Aubameyang in a flick of the moment, just he could be out of the game. One pass from Saka and it's in the back of the net. That's the thing with Aubameyang. Whereas Lacazette, you might have to have 2-3 chances before he actually scores a goal, right? So I'm not too fussed, but definitely I agree that Lacazette should start. I mean, doesn't make sense if he's not performing. Take him off in 50th, 60th minute and bring on Aubameyang. But other than that, we got to play the same team.
Yeah. Exactly.
Another thing we want to play Lacazette because if he's scoring and stuff, we may be able to sell him and get money in. Frankly, I would, if a team came in to get him right now, I'd sell him, and that goes with Xhaka as well. People are sucking him off again after that free kick. Cool. I mean, it raised his value in the transfer market. He's on a positive. Sell him now because we're not going to get that same money if we wait in the summer than if we were to sell him right now when he's on the up. So those two, if I got offers right now, I'd take it and I'd sell them. Even if it means we don't replace them, our squad is quite big. So, we could get away with a Martinelli, Aubameyang, and Ketia striker rotation for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think Lacazette is the answer, and I would still sell him myself. Same for Xhaka, same for Bellerin. There's too many players to name really who need to leave the football club. But how do you see this game going? I know you touched on it already.
Yeah.
Big Sam, he tends to set up quite defensively. Although last game they was getting opened up like a tin of beans by Leeds.
Yeah.
And
but we know how Leeds play. They're a very attacking team, right? They're actually more attacking than we are, to be honest. So that's why I can see them scoring 5 goals. There's no way we're scoring 5 goals, but I think that what I want to see tomorrow is we're going to have the ball. Most likely, they're going to try and counter attack. So we're going to have a lot of possession, but I don't want to see Leno, Holding, and Mari having like 3 times more touches than the rest of the team. That's what's really bothering me. I think we are playing with the ball way too much at the back. It takes way too long to get the ball forward in the creative areas. So as I said, we need to play fast tomorrow. We need to play forwards. And stop passing around between the goal, like in the back. It's so useless. We waste so much time. About like 20 minutes of the match is wasted, spent just between those passes that they keep doing. And that really frustrates me. So I'm expecting 2 to 3 goals tomorrow. I just want to see us open passes. I was watching on YouTube a couple of old like classic Arsenal games, and I was watching Fabregas, man, and like, shit, this guy could find passes, man, over the top balls, like instantly. And we just don't have that. And I was also watching like a video made about Sanchez. It was just like all of Sanchez's highlights. And I'm watching that and I'm like, this guy was dribbling 3-4 players, like we don't have any player at Arsenal, even Aubameyang, or Ceballos, none of them can do what Sanchez would do. I frankly think Sanchez is better than Aubameyang. I'd take Sanchez over Aubameyang any day. That when I watched that, I was like, wow, we really, when we had Sanchez in his prime, he was probably one of the top 3 best players in the world in his prime. He was just untouchable. Just seeing that just brought back memories, and you really see what we're missing in our team. No player that can take it from our box. And yes, Martinelli and Saka can do it, but not consistently, and they don't have the physicality because they're young. Whereas Sanchez was much older. He could just do things that were magic.
I was going to say there is one player in our squad who reminds me a bit of Sanchez, and that is Martinelli. Just his persona, his energy.
He has a long way to go. I mean, he's young. He definitely gives you the glimmer, and he's my favorite young player. But I think, Sanchez, he was at Barcelona, and he wasn't getting much into the team. It wasn't the same Sanchez that we got. When we got him, he was a different player because he was a superstar in the team. Whereas in Barcelona, there's too many superstars. He barely got the ball. He barely could do the stuff that he wanted to do. And then he comes to Arsenal and he's the king, and everyone gives him the ball. 1-2s. I mean, the amount of 1-2s that Giroud and Sanchez would do, you just don't see Arsenal doing that much, right? I mean, we just don't have those players. So when you watch old Arsenal teams, you can really see the change, from Giroud, Shamak. Theo Walcott. We used to have a lot of speedsters on the wings, and then just a center forward that could score headers. Bentner, Shamak, Giroud. That was for like at least 8-9 years. And now we have Aubameyang, Saka, Martinelli, all fast players, but, technically not the best, strikers. So, yeah, interesting. We need a player like that, right? And that's why we're craving for a Jack Grealish or a James Maddison, because these are the type of players that will just dribble, take the ball, dribble, create space, create chances, make something happen. And our team is too boring, man. We're too lackluster. We just sit there sideways, backwards. No one wants to just take a risk. It's okay if you lose the ball, attempt it. But then the problem is the players that we have can't even attempt it because they don't have the imagination or the talent or the quality. They can't, Sanchez, he visions before he does whatever he's going to do. He has it already playing in his mind what he's going to do. These players cannot think that way because it's just, they don't have that. They've never done it. So we need a player like that. And that's why I say I don't want a Bissouma, because a Bissouma cannot bring that to our team. He brings defensive stability. Yes, in transition, he'll help us, but he won't be that player where you get off your seat and you're like, he's gonna score. He's gonna score. And so I want that player. That's the player that I want at any cost. Whether it's 100 million and we only get that player, I wouldn't care. I just want that player, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans feel that way as well.
Yeah, definitely. Jack Grealish, mate, he'd be the dream for me. Jack
He would.
Grealish,
He would.
you know, him
And he
or
does
Madison.
defensive
Actually,
work too.
Madison, you know,
They
Madison's
both,
just as good.
both of them, they do both forward and backwards. They do everything. That's why you're a world class player, is because you can do everything, and that's why as good as Ozil can be creating, he lacks defensively, which is why the last three managers cannot depend on him, especially in a team where you don't have those superstars where everyone is top 10 in their position. You can't get away with an Ozil.
Yeah, 100%. So, prediction. I know you touched on it. Prediction for the West Brom game tomorrow.
2 or 3-0.
2 or 3-0.
Yeah. I'm telling you, trust me, we're going to win tomorrow. It'll be easy. It's not going to be a test for us, to be quite honest. I don't think it will be. West Brom is like second last in the league. We should be swiping this team away. And I think other teams are going to start dropping points, as we saw last weekend. All other rival teams drop points. And I think a couple of them will drop points again this weekend. And we just need to keep focusing on ourselves. And, in a couple of months, you never know. I'm not saying it will happen, but, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal's back in it and rival teams are just like, what the hell? Like, how did this happen? Because that's how the league is. It's so unpredictable. You think one team is out of the running and all of a sudden, few months later, they're back in it, like few points away. We're 6 points behind Chelsea, really. And that's doable, man. It's doable. We're still playing Chelsea as well this season. So, yeah, I think we just got to focus on ourselves, beat the teams that we're supposed to beat, and then go into the bigger games, hoping. And that's when I say be neutral and like don't think we're gonna win and act all like chest out almighty. Like those are the games where like, okay, cool, we could draw, we could lose. I won't be too mad as long as the performance is 100% and the players give it their all. But against these smaller teams like Newcastle and West Brom that we have next, we need to be killing these teams if we want to be considered serious. And let's be honest, Brandon, if we beat these teams in the next 2 weeks, the transfer window is 4 weeks. It gives encouragement for other players to even come. I know it's not that big of a difference, but they'll see us winning games again, and it should manipulate players that are maybe on the fence of joining Arsenal. I don't know. I think it will. The more you win, the more attractive you are, right? So I think that might help us as well.
100%. Do you have any scorers in mind? Who do you think is going to score the goals?
Yeah. I really thought Aubameyang was going to score on Tuesday. I mean, when he missed that, I'm sorry. I know it wasn't a bad shot, but he should have done better. Or he puts it on the bottom bottom left, and that's going in. It was kind of straight to the keeper, and I don't know if that's confidence or because it was pressure from the defender. But I have a feeling Aubameyang is going to score. But really, I want Martinelli to score. That's who I really want to score. I just want him to score and celebrate. And we can go back to having those conversations about how Martinelli is the best young talent in the Premier League, because I really think he is. I mean, if he scored that bicycle against Chelsea, that would have been scenes. He created that all by himself. I think, hopefully no yellow cards or red cards, no stupidity from Xhaka, El Neni, Holding, any of those guys. If David Luiz plays, we just need to play simple, get a goal, relax, let them try and get a goal because they're going to have to chase the game, hit them on the counter, 2-0, done, finished. And we can just either try and score or we can hold back and defend. Because I see Arteta tends, once we go 1-0, we're just holding for the game. That's his tactic. He doesn't want to risk anything. Whereas Wenger, we would try and like continue scoring, and then we end up losing the game, and then people would be like, "What the hell? Like, why would you do that?" So I see that from Arteta tactically. When we go 1-0 up and there's about 20-30 minutes left, he just will go for the 1-0.
Do you know what? I think it's going to be a closer game than what people think. I genuinely do.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because Big Sam, like I said, he sets up West Brom to be quite defensive. We struggle to break down defensive teams. We see it against Brighton, we did really struggle in that first half. Second half, we was a lot better, we did struggle. And another thing as well that I don't like about our team at the moment is we start games so slow, and it takes for them to get in at half time and Mikel Arteta to give them a bollocking before you actually start to see, you know. And I just worry that if we start this game a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic, go into the game with the mindset of, oh, it's only West Brom, we should be picking up 3 points here. We could make this a harder game for ourselves than what we might think. So I'm going for a 2-1 win. I do think it will
as
be
long
close.
as we win, I'd be happy with a 2-1. Honestly, as I said, I don't really care about the performance, more about the result right now. I could care a bit less about the performance because this season already has been quite heartbreaking in terms of what we've seen. Like my eyes are quite scarred already, so it's not going to be much of a difference for me. I think 2 points. One, this issue about starting slowly has been an issue we've had since the end of Wenger's era, and there's no excuse for it. Really, what I think the reason for that is that our players are not hungry enough, right? If in the first 20, 30 minutes of the game, like players feel good and we have an edge and we're dominating, then they want to show up. They don't want to show up from the first minute, right? They look at the surrounding and on the circumstances to determine whether or not they're going to give it their game, that game, right? Which is why we end up seeing in the second half that, usually the team shows up. And then the second point that I was going to say was, I forgot what my second point was. Yeah.
That's all right, no worries. Well, there you go, guys. That is the preview to the West Brom game tomorrow. Hopefully, Arsenal can get 3 points. Hopefully, new year, new Arsenal. Hopefully we won't be seeing the same old rubbish that we see. Hopefully we can get some players in the January transfer window as well, which I will be keeping a massive eye on. Because I
think we all are. Yeah, we all are. I think that's all we're really looking forward to this season. As I said, Europa League for me is our prize this season. If we get lucky in our draws, I think we can make it quite far. So getting that creative midfielder is just to take us, as far as we can in the Europa Leagues. I don't really care about the FA Cup. We just want it. I don't want to. I mean, I do want to win it again, but frankly, like it doesn't excite. It doesn't excite me as much as getting back into the Champions League and getting new superstar players. So for me, the league is pretty much done. I just want to finish in the top half of the table, which will be 8th or 9th. We won't finish much higher than that for me. And yeah, all eyes are on Edu and Kroenke because, if they don't back Arteta, then I think we've spoken about this earlier. We need to really start focusing on, putting our energy towards them because we know Arteta's partly to blame, but at the same time, he's not being helped, right? So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. If you have not already, please smash them likes up. You can find African Gooner mainly on the Arsenal Lounge. Where else can we find you, mate?
You can also find me on Twitter at African Gooner, and yeah, I'm on here once in a while.
It's always good to have you on, mate. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on. So yeah, like I said, big up to everybody who's watching. Big up to everybody who's smashed that like button. And if you have not already, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you never, ever miss a video. That was the Arsenal West Brom preview. And we will be back again for a reaction to the game tomorrow. Fingers crossed, guys. And yeah, peace. We're out.